Five, four, three, two, one.
Clicos. All right, update. You can see the hood just sitting on Gary's truck. Bumper's pretty much done. We have a couple little spots to touch up like we talked about last time. I got some of the tubes right here cut. These are the straight ones for the hood cage structure. Here's a bunch of bracketry. This all picks up his headlights and everything. You can see it's notched for where the tubes go. So we'll get all that in there. I got left to do on those ones is just bend up the bent tubes, which there's a decent amount of bent tubes in there. I mean, it took 2.5 sticks of 24 footers to make this cage structure for this. We're gonna bust that out this week and try and get this thing pretty much hopefully buttoned up by the end of the week, maybe going into some of next week, mainly because we've been making an enormous amount of progress on the F100, and it's really hard to break away from that one when you start making really good forward momentum on that one. But we need to get this thing done and get it gone. But it is coming out really nice. The bumper looks super good on this one. Can't really complain. As soon as we get all this stuff done, we'll plug the skid plate on it, plug his lights in, and goes back home. Now for back here, we have Mike's Blazer is all done. Shock mounts are in. The only thing I have left to do before it leaves this week is charge the shocks back up and bleed the front brakes, because we had to break the brake lines loose for when we were taking stuff apart and taking everything out. Otherwise, she is done and ready to go. Mike is very happy with it. Super good dude. Now for over here. As you can see, we have made a lot of progress. I guess before I show you too much of that, you can see this giant piece here. Oh man, this is the upper shock tower assembly that we were talking about. So this is the part that has the CNC billet 4140 pieces that plug into the ends and then plug into the other structure up there. Oh, that thing's heavy. Beefy. Obviously coilover bypass mount. That'll be all in. Lower A-arms are done. Like we said, we're gonna hold off on putting the shock tabs in, which, you know, the key slotted for it. So it's an easy plug-in. We just, you know, a couple thousandths here and there makes a world of difference. So once we can put it in, cycle everything, we can make little fine adjustments that we want. That big upper bulkhead piece plugs into the fixture here, comes down here, and that's what locates our shocks. Shock package is on order, and we should have that in the next few weeks. From big thanks to Mitch Made. He's one that got us hooked up and helped out with the Kings. This truck is running the biggest, baddest shocks that you can get. 4 or 5 bypasses, front and back, 7 tube bypasses, finned reservoirs, and then the front, I believe, has the backs are a piggyback. The fronts are a remote with the swivel ends on them, so we can clock them any direction we want without having to break them loose, which is really nice. I'm not sure on hose length. You know, that might be something that we might have to adjust, and depending where we want to set them, but we've been making a lot of good progress. You can see our cage structure for the fixture is here and on, bolted up. Obviously, the tubes are extended off the back quite a ways because the other end of the table is still over there while we can. Came out super level, actually perfectly level, which makes it nice being able to cut all these square tubes out and have all the holes and everything on a laser. The laser tube cutter is amazing. We save an enormous amount of time on cleanup. I love it. The thing's awesome. Very happy with those Stealth machines. They're doing great. The press brake is kicking butt. But we got a lot of tubes tacked in, plugged in. Most of the floor structure, there's still just tubes laying everywhere. As you can see, we do miter caps on everything. They're all laser etched part numbers, so we know exactly where they are. They have the pressure relief holes in there, so we don't build up pressure just in one tube, and we don't have to drill them out, so the whole chassis will be able to breathe through itself. A lot of them are keyed and slotted. Coming out really good. We just got the upper mounts. This is where our rear shock bracket will bolt, and then that locates right there. So that's what's going to hold us to where it needs to be. And then a bunch of tubes will connect all of this together too. Don't lose that. We have tubes just everywhere. So on our tube stuff that we do, you can see we will go in there, we'll do 2 inches in from the closest point in the root. Sand those, sand the inside, and then we also clean the inside. These things are like a mirror finish on the inside. Keep all the dirt, keep these tubes clean for the life of the vehicle. I mean, if you start with a bunch of oily crap on the inside, that's just going to stay there forever. This way it keeps any chance of rust, moisture, anything like that out of these tubes. We got a bunch of this tube's just sitting here. Ignore that. It's just to hold this tube parallel. We just kind of set this up so you guys can see. We have all these structures made. This one, we're going to make a couple extra fixtures just to help with things. All the floor tubes are intact. We did route all the passes where the tubes overlap onto another tube. So there is nothing that will be 100% welded. Everything, well, did I say that right? No, probably not. There'll be nothing that's unwelded. Everything will be 100% welded. So we'll pop a tube in, tack it into place where it needs, pop that tube out, root pass where it overlaps, snap the tube back in, finish welding it again. We're not going to get too super crazy on trying to weld all this stuff out right now. We're going to try and get all of the cage structure on and get everything that we can physically get in to hold this thing perfectly square, because as of right now, everything is coming out awesome. I mean, there's nothing over here that has more than a 30-second variance, which is extremely good. Very happy with that. Got all that going. Like I said, the shock packages ordered. We should have those in like 2 to 3 weeks, which at the same time we'll have the Mitch made third member and the front and rear hubs. And then we can start plugging in the A-arms and all that stuff. Trailing arms are all cut and bent. We just got to start making those, but as of right now, we're going to focus on cage tubes because this is the most important. Trailing arms aren't really a big deal right this second. Yeah, we're making good headway. We ordered 200 feet of tubing, or I'm sorry. Yeah, 200 feet of tubing, and I am probably already over halfway through the bundle of it. Everything's 2 inch. There's a couple 1.5 inch pieces here and there. And this thing is coming out awesome. Alan's been a super good customer. He loves seeing the progress on this. And I really enjoy seeing how much he is enjoying it himself. It's a fun process, especially right now. This is the part where you guys start seeing big progress. Granted, all this stuff is the most time consuming. The plate work, it takes so much time to make sure it's perfect. So when we get into the tube structure, it actually starts looking like a lot, and it looks like a lot very fast. Hopefully to have this thing off the chassis table and onto the rotisserie, I'd probably say within a month. Obviously we're probably going to put the shocks and A-arms on beforehand just so we can cycle a few things and make sure everything's hunky-dory. Otherwise, we have a pile of tubes. There's more across the street next to the laser. There's more tubes laying around over here. There's more tubes behind John. Got a lot of tubes, and it's looking really good. Otherwise, I think that is what we have for this week. Next week's going to be a good one, and the following week, every week's going to be good. So we're making a lot of progress, and we'll see you guys next week.